So we're going to do some breaths. Hi, I'm Michael Westgate. Thank you for joining me. I've helped people with chronic pain for over 2 decades. I aim to help you say goodbye to pain and hello to a fully lived life. So we're going to do some breaths. We did box breath last time, which I have found to be one of the most accessible self-care practices that I've ever come across because it's so easy to remember and it can be done without anyone noticing. So what happened is I was in a situation where was I doing? I used to wait for something. I just started, oh, I know what, it's a new meeting that I had on Zoom. And I felt a little nervous because I'm new. So I just started doing that practice. And I was like, this is helping. And no one could tell because I wasn't like, I was just doing, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, but very, very calmly. And I felt better. So I think that's what I'm hoping everyone finds. I want you to find your pocket practices that are, portable and practical and effective, right? And that's why I call them that, because you can just stick them in your pocket when you go out and you don't have to get fancy and you don't need a therapist and you can just do them when I know also it's easier to get to because if you can do it in 4 minutes anywhere, then you can do it at 4 minutes anywhere during the day and then check it off as I did it. So, okay, this one that we're going to do first is pretty standard, but we might as well cover the fundamentals. This is called a diaphragmatic breath, or breathing. And the thing about this one is that part of the emphasis is you really want to feel how your body feels when you breathe. Okay, so in this breath, what we want to do is you want one hand on your chest. I don't really care which one it is. One on your stomach. And so when you're breathing in, you want to sense the expansion of the stomach and the chest, and also the sideways expansion of the ribs, right? So this is what we're trying to focus on. And then we're going to exhale slowly. It could either be through your nose or mouth. So we'll cover both of those because there's ways to do the mouth that is more effective. And it tends to be slow, right? So this isn't fast. It's not energizing. It's relaxing. But the body awareness is similar to what we just did with the body scan. So it's a type of body scan. So what you can see is that all these practices we do have elements that overlap, typically, because there's always a mindful awareness involved. It otherwise doesn't really work, right? So if you do the breath but you think of something else, it doesn't really work. So let's try that. Now, here's another typical thing. Typically, you're told to breathe into your stomach first and then your chest, which I have heard from certain sources is more regulatory. So that means that it will cause cause you to relax more easily. However, being who I am, in my opinion, if that doesn't work for you, don't do that. Maybe you want to do both at once. Maybe you want to do chest first and then stomach. I'll leave it up to you. But the way I'll cue it is, we're going to try stomach first and then chest in how we breathe and then expand sideways. So you have your hands in place, right? Stomach, chest. And then we're going to breathe in slowly through the nose, I recommend. And then out slowly. Now in this case, I was breathing out through my mouth. And if you purse your lips, it actually is more effective at stimulating the vagal system. So that's helpful. Let's do that again. This time, let's try breathing out through the nose instead. Again. Now let's try this. I think we're going to try alternate. We're going to do 2 of each. So two rounds where we breathe through the nose, 2 where we breathe through the mouth. And what I want you to do is to pay attention to which one you like better for your body at the moment. And then, by the way, this might change. So there's no guarantee that this will be true all the time, right? That's why I've discovered in my practices is often something that feels great, usually when you try to do it in a certain situation or feeling that you're having or your trigger, and you're like, your body's like, I hate this. So you have to go into another practice. Okay, so we're going to do 2 where we're going to breathe through the nose the whole time, and then 2 where we breathe through the mouth, and then through the nose first and then out the mouth. So let's start with in through the nose, out through the mouth for 2 rounds. And again. Pay attention to how that felt to your whole system. Remember, you're focusing on as much as you can track, which is stomach, chest, ribs, and anything else that you feel, like through your mouth, through your nose. So we're going to go in and out the nose now, no mouth. Okay, now given what you felt, we're going to do 5 rounds, but this time I want you to do whichever one you prefer. So if you prefer using the mouth to breathe out, do that. If you prefer just nose in and out, do that. And we're going to do 5 in a row. So in and out. And in and out. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. And one more. Breathe in and out. And just let your hands down and just be aware of how that practice felt to you. Just be with it. So this practice is ear massage, right? So I just want to acclimate you guys to what we're up to here. So there's a number of things that we're working on the ear. We're going to be squeezing and kind of, so if you squeeze, it's one thing, but you can squeeze and then move the fingers like this, right? So you're going to be tractioning the fascia and the tissue. Or there's also tugging, and we're going to start with the tugging. So what I want you to do is start at the top of your ear and tug kind of out a little bit. It doesn't have to be aggressive. And then you maybe start even at the very top of the ear and tug up, and then go down, a little bit and tug that little spot, and then go down a little bit and tug. And here's what I want you to pay attention to. Do some tugs feel more resistance than others? All right, that's the thing. Do you feel, and you can try the different trajectory. You can try tugging forward, backward, down, up, right? So you see, and when you do that, where do you feel more resistance? That's the question. What part of the ear do you feel more resistance in? So like I'm finding right now that if I grab my ear right kind of at the, almost like the earlobe, but a little above it, and I tug down, I'm actually feeling a stretch that goes into my ear canal. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not, that may not be yours because everyone's are going to be different. And you actually could do both at once if you want, but I thought I'd show you the ear itself. So, and again, like, how about going forward or back or just out, almost like straight out, so to speak, from the ear? So determine which direction and vector, as they say, feels like it's actually getting something to stretch. And then we're going to hold the stretch for, probably up to 30 seconds. So you're going to get a good handle. If your ears are slippery, you might consider using a tissue so that you have better grip on it. So just, that's an option. So we're going to choose a vector and a stretch, and we're going to just hang out there. So I'll tell you when 30 seconds are up. And in the meantime, pay attention to what your body's doing in response to the stretch. Just be mindful of that. That's 30 seconds. Now, if you did just one ear, let's switch ears. So I did my right ear first, so I'm going to do my left. So let's do the same thing. So we're going to try tugging straight out, up, down, different areas of the ear. Try to tug the whole ear forward, backward, and then see if you can find another area that feels like it needs some stretching. So mine, what I'm finding is that I need it to tug it up and out a bit right here. So that's what I'm going to go for. So everyone find their stretch, and then we're going to do 30 seconds. I need to be able to see the clock. All right, here we go. So we're starting right now. So you're going to 30-second stretch, and pay attention to what your body sensations say about this. Doesn't hurt to breathe steadily as well. Yeah, it's about 30 seconds. Now, you can do this all over the ear. So I'm not saying just one stretch per ear or one spot, but now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually massage it. So you can see that the ear here, it kind of folds over and then goes into the ear, kind of towards the ear canal right here. That's where we want to start. Yeah, what I want you to do is to kind of almost pinch and roll. That's what I'm at, pinch and roll. And then compare that to just pinching and see if there's something, or like pressing. See if you prefer. So I prefer pinch and roll. I've known this for years. And I would do the roll slowly. So we're going to go nice and slow. And again, what you want to look out for is what feels tight. What feels like I'm actually, tractioning the tissue in a way that feels like it's releasing something. And we're going to work our way down the ear. So it's kind of the edge of the ear, but you can go further in too. So you can, and again, what you're looking for is an area that feels like it wants some release. And in other words, it's usually a good ache. So I just found a spot on my ear right here that has a good ache to it. And I'm going to do that sort of slow sort of rolling of the tissue between my fingers. And I'm going to follow. This happens often. You're going to find a kind of a grain of tension, and I'm following that. I'm finding the different areas that it's in. And then it's just kind of nice, slow roll the tissue. Or if you prefer steady pressure, do that. But I don't. I actually like to roll and twist. That's what usually feels best to my body. And then work your way down the ear. See if you can find multiple areas. I just found another area here. This is kind of just before the earlobe for me. And again, I can't tell you where to work because I don't know. I mean, every body is different. So Let's find another. I found another area here near the earlobe. That feels really nice to me. So I'm gonna work that. Okay, and then we're gonna take a break. Woo, okay, yeah, there's sensation here for some of us. So let's do the other ear, same thing. So you're gonna start at the very end of the top, and I'm gonna explore. And this exploration, this has some creativity to it. You're like, some curiosity. It's like, I wonder what'll happen when I roll around here. And what's interesting to me is this left ear is not the same as my right ear. Not at all, actually. I found a spot right on the edge here. By the way, these are acupuncture points, just in case anyone's wondering. When I roll it, it kind of hurts good, and that's what I recommend to look for, is the hurt good spots. And I'm gonna roll that slowly over that hurt good spot. Again, if you prefer static pressure, go ahead. I'm not trying to say that you should roll, but I want you to try it. And interesting, this spot actually prefers static pressure for me. Yeah, it's very distinctive too. Whew. Okay, and so okay, my 30 seconds or so for any given spot, and that's a general guideline, so it's not a hard and fast rule. So I'm going to work my way, around the ear and see if I can find any other spots. Not really, this is funny. For this ear, there's hardly anything that needs to be released on that side for me. So that's a very curious thing. If you need to spend some more time on that, I don't mean to rush anybody. Okay, now there's one more thing to try on this. Is we're going to take, one of your fingers and put it kind of semi into your ear canal, and then kind of try pulling or in different directions. So you can pull towards, the front of the room, or away from it, towards the back of your head, towards the front of your head, towards the top of your head, towards your feet, right? So, and see if you find any spots in there that feel like they need working as well. Again, you may not find much. Like on my right side, there's a little bit, but not too much. And then let's try the other one. Okay, now this is fascinating. On my left side, when I press into the ear canal and down a little bit, it's really tender. Woo! That one is like espresso in the morning, that one. Oh my God. So that, and again, you don't want to torture yourself, but you're looking for that good ache feeling. That hurts good. Oh, yeah, I got kind of almost on the edge of that one's kind of on the edge for me. But it's changing. So that's the other thing you want to look for, is as you release, you will be hoping for it to feel a shift of some kind. And maybe it's too much, and if it's too much, you need to stop. So let's, okay, so one more for those brave types. This one, you have to use your pinky finger usually, unless you have an unusually large ear canal, which I don't. So what you're going to do is stick your finger in your ear, and then open and close your mouth, and see if that helps release any tension. So you're going to actually stick the finger in the ear and press backward and down a bit. So try open and close the jaw. And I don't have any tenderness there, but there's a little kind of a click going on. We're actually working on the jaw joint right now, by the way. And when you're ready, switch sides. And again, my left side, it's more sore. Ah, boy. Yeah, it's more sore on this side. Oh, boy, that's a good spot. And again, you're looking for what I call gnarly spots, which are spots that actually they hurt good, even though they're kind of like, whoa. Okay. Oh, yeah, that one was a little achier. All right. Very good. Okay, so our next fun activity, because this is all about fun around here, this is called joint circles. Yeah, there's actually whole practices and therapies that are based on this. Um, Feldenkrais has quite a bit of this, and even something like Pilates or gyrotonics. I don't know if you guys know what gyrotonics is, but it's a therapeutic protocol that is was invented by an Italian physical therapist that based all your movement on circular motions rather than linear ones, which is actually incredibly intelligent because the way people lift weights often doesn't relate at all to how actually you use your body, which is not good because you really should exercise in the way that you would use your body mostly. So what we're going to do to start is we're going to start by doing these circular motions with wrist and fingers, right? Like this. You could just do the wrist by itself if you want to start. And I wouldn't go really fast. Again, it should be more of slow, mindful. You're going to say, this is what, again, what we want to do is we want to listen to our body's feedback, right? We're going to say, as we do this, you're going to say to your primal guardian, what do you think of this? Like, how's this working for you, right? You're saying, and here's the thing is as you go through the range, you might find a range, end of the range or a part of the range that it's like, wow, that feels kind of stretchy or soothing, or maybe it feels challenging, and just be aware of that. Right. So we're doing now, eventually I want you to add in, you could do fingers by themselves. I could do the thumb on its own, right? You could do a finger on its own, or you could do all of them kind of in this sort of wave pattern, right? And as you're doing this, pay attention to what your body's telling you about it. What's coming up for you? How does it feel? And, most importantly, if it's disturbing or triggering at all, then maybe you want to stop that or do it differently, right? And there's all kinds of ways you can play with this, right? So I'm doing all this different stuff. And like, if I do that, I feel a stretch in my wrist at the top of my wrist. But I like that feeling. It feels really good to me. Okay. And we're doing all these different ways. And like I said, you can just play with one joint. You could do the thumb by itself if you want. Maybe that will inform you about something. I can even do a rhythm, like, I'm doing this sort of rhythm, right? And then let's just stop for a second and kind of feel yourself. I was doing both at once, and you're welcome to do that. I'm not saying you have to do one at a time. Whatever, resonates. But if you hadn't done both of them at once, let's do the other side. So I'm going to do my left now. I'm going to start with my wrist. I just got a crack, and I'm going to just kind of play with the rotation and see how it feels to me, and feels what rhythm, what speed, what direction I like. Now, how did that happen? That the thumb up, because I did this probably. That was hilarious. I'm like, what? And you don't be afraid to use your shoulder a little bit in this one, because, right, you can actually use more than one joint at a time. And then eventually we're going to add the fingers in. Maybe the thumb comes first, and then we're going to do fingers in different dynamics and different vectors. And again, you want to just be aware of what your body thinks of what you're doing, and if it actually is requesting that you go in a certain direction, or if you do a certain thing. Okay. And then again, you pause and just say, okay, how did that feel? I mean, is it activating? Was it relaxing? Am I agitated? Do I feel like punching someone? Do I feel more peaceful? These are good things to know. And then, so we're going to expand this now. So let's see if we can do a whole arm thing, right? It's twisting the arm in different ways, right? And bending and then rotating. Get the shoulder into it. What happens when we kind of swing the shoulder around or bring it off to the across the body or behind me? circular motions are really what you want here, right? And even shrugging up the shoulder and down as part of it. You can even do sort of a wave pattern with your arm, but with the shoulder going up and down. So it's kind of like a wave machine sort of motion. And again, be aware of what it feels like to do this. Does it feel good? Does it feel challenging? What is your body wanting to do? Let's do the other side if you haven't done it already. So we're doing whole arm, shoulder, elbow, different sorts of ways of moving, sensing. And if you have limited range, just do a tiny bit. You don't have to go big, dramatic like me if you can't. Just see what your body's willing to do. And again, on this one, you can do either a wave pattern like this, or you can just shrug up and down at both shoulders. That's another way to go. All right? And again, play with it. How about shoulders forward, shoulders back, shoulders in a big circle? How about pulling your shoulders back by, tightening up the muscles between your shoulder blades? How about that? How about pulling them down? Woof. And then maybe take a break because sometimes it's pretty stimulated. Now we're going to do the neck. Now, again, if you have any injuries in the neck, you got to be really careful about this. But what I recommend is first just try like looking side to side and be gentle with it, right? And then eventually let's add in kind of more circular, almost like you're trying to check out your environment. And like, what's over here? What's over here? What's behind me? What's behind me and down on the floor? And again, you want to be aware of what your body's telling you in each position. Because like what I'm finding now is that my body, for some reason, really likes the feeling of looking to the left and down. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm just going to play with so I'm going to tilt my chin up and down around that spot. And then I'm just kind of swoop down and back up to the other side and come back. So now I'm going to twist I'm going to go to the side and twist, the side and twist. You can try looking up if you can. Try just tilting your head to one side and kind of rocking a little bit. Just try to be aware of how you're responding to these joints being moved in these ways. And one of the things I encourage you to do is to move your body in ways you usually don't, and that can be very informative. Because we all tend to get in the habit of moving in very specific ways all the time with not very much variation, which often reflects our internal stuckness, by the way. So if you're internally rigid about certain things, the body will exhibit that by not being as fluid in how it moves or how it wants to move. So, of course, you can do ankles as well. Right? We do that even when you're sitting. So let's just rotate either both or one ankle, and you can do a circle. You can point your toes. You can pull the ankle up. You can twist it to one side or another, or try to kind of twist it inward and outward. And, just be aware of what that evokes in your body. Like, what's coming up for you? And is there a difference between your feet and ankles and your wrists and upper body? Like, does this feel better? It might. But it may not. But typically when people do their feet, there tends to be a grounding effect because you're conscious of your feet and your legs more so. And, get your toes into it too. You can, how about the big toe? Can you, and all the other toes, can you flex them up? Can you flex them down? Can you flex them to one side or another? You could even involve the ankle in this too. What happens when I flex inward and outward? And then I go back into a circle. And how's that feel? Make sure you do both sides. All right, so you're doing feet and ankles, doing toes, trying to be curious and experimental. Okay, very good. And now this can also be done standing, which sometimes can be, I don't know, I say better, but you have more options. So can you guys see me okay? Yeah, it's like reasonably well. So again, this is about joints, right? So how about twisting? How about twisting and bending? Again, so now there's more joints involved, right? Neck, spine, shoulder. I can twist back and forth in a rhythm. I can mix it up and kind of do all kinds of angles. I could get my hips involved and kind of go back, go forward, right? You can, you can get your hips involved by using one leg and swiveling it around. So just try to kind of be creative, right? You can extend your leg forward and twist it around, and you can put it back. There's all, it's almost endless in the potential here. You can even kind of do your hips back and forth like this. Almost like you're trying to an exaggerated, walk where you're sticking your hips out to each side. Here's another one. You can plant your foot and then twist your leg without letting your foot move. It's another one. Try that inward, try that outward. See how it feels. Try the other side. Plant the foot, twist the body, but the foot stays where it is. And then you could even do things like do a squat and then come up. So, your focus is on your joints, how it feels in the joint to be in that motion. And even this part, which I highly recommend, what does your body like? This is really important. What is it not like? And that will change often from day to day, moment to moment. So it's not like that's going to be a static issue, usually, although you might have preferences, right? So, okay, so the next one, this has a number of different names. In the material that Dr. Porges provides through the organization that licenses his Safe and Sound protocol, they call it gentle shaking. But when I learned this originally, I learned it in it was an 8-week course taught by psychologists as mindful practices of various kinds for helping you, process emotion and stuff. She called it bounce and shake. So what she explained, and I'm going to explain it in her way because I thought it was really intriguing. She's like, everyone thinks that meditation is just about calming down. She goes, that's not true at all. It's also about energizing. So she recommended this exercise as a morning exercise. And I used to use it, actually, for a while I did. I used it, and I kind of forgot about it. So I'm kind of glad that I'm reviewing it now with you guys because I think it's a very useful exercise. And I'm going to demonstrate this standing. I think that's a better way to do it. Okay, that's decent. All right, so, and with bounce and shake, what you're doing, and this will be a shock, but you're bouncing and shaking. Now, that's a surprise, I know. But what you're doing is you're trying to wake up your body, right? You're supposed to, so here, what I'm doing is I'm standing, and you want to have kind of loose knees, right? Kind of bouncy knees. Now, you could do this sitting, by the way. It's you just won't use as much of your body if you did, but and I'm going to start by just kind of bouncing up and down with the, using the knees, right? So I'm going to start doing that, so sort of rhythmical hop, almost like you're going to hop, but not, you're not catching air. You're just feeling that kind of rhythm. And then from there, you might start getting your hands involved a little bit, right? And Then eventually maybe you want to get your shoulders involved, and then maybe you might turn it into something a little bit more random. So you're just going to kind of let yourself bounce and shake whatever direction feels right to you, and at whatever intensity feels right to you. So it doesn't really matter. It's not like a right way to do this. You just have to feel what, and you can even make it intense. You can go real fast like this, or you can just go more rhythmically and gentle. And you can even do things where you pushing out, or flapping your arms, or pushing up, this, or out, right? You got it. Or you could even do circles with your shoulders a little bit, and as you push out, or you can put, you could hands go back and forth. What doesn't matter, whatever occurs to you. Now, the other thing that she recommended was to play rhythmical music without lyrics, so that you could kind of bounce and shake to the music and get uninhibited. So that's another option too. You get creative with it, whatever you want. And again, the main thing is to say, how is my body responding to this? What is it like and doesn't like? What should I go towards? And if all you want to do is something where you're kind of bouncing with your knees, and maybe the hands are coming out a little bit like this, and that's the only thing that you like, that's fine. But some other people might really want to get into it and do this sort of thing where that may be a good thing if you have a frustrating experience, is you can, go to the bathroom or lock the door to your office or your room and just go, because sometimes that's really what you need to just get it out. So that's something that can be played with depending on your temperament and what your body likes. Let's get back here. Right. Now, those are the practices. If you found this content helpful, please like and subscribe. You can look forward to more videos about how to overcome chronic illness and chronic pain.